part 2 of Still Under Construction. Also, you guys say the darndest things in the comments, but, thank you for all the kind words. Love narrating these stories, and glad you enjoy it. Anyway, on we go. So Wendy and Travis make their descent down the stairs into this new exhibit. The first thing they saw was these 2 empty exhibit cases on either side of the room. They were a bit disappointed that they're not seeing things immediately. But as the suspense builds as they enter the next room, this is when they start seeing some stuff. They notice in a glass exhibit case a man's torso with a lion's head sewn onto it with a wood stake shoved down through the mouth and out the rear hole. And right next to the lion head is a female version of that with a horse head and a horse male genitalia, also with a stake shoved all the way through. They recognize this site immediately as one of the gore imagery in the videos that they were watching in the movie theater. They couldn't believe their eyes. This can't be real. This can't be the video stuff. This can't be the same thing we just saw. Oh, but it was. Oh, but it was. Same. As they began to venture a little further in, they start to notice other exhibits that were also featured in the gore films. Some were animals and some were people. The most disturbing thing that they came upon inside this glass tank was a mangled human corpse of a woman. Her limbs outstretched and detached, and between where her left leg would be attached at the hip were sewn in limbs branching out like a tree. So limbs upon limbs being sewn to her body as she rotted in this tank. And also in the tank were 3 human babies feeding off of her rotting corpse. The babies didn't see Wendy and Travis in the room with them because their eyes were sewn shut. Wendy and Travis freaked out and screamed. The babies were alarmed, can't see anything, and they turned towards the screaming and began making inhuman wailing noises and clawing at their eyes to open their eyes to see what's the screaming. And that's when the lights cut out. Travis and Wendy freaked out right as the lights were cut. A noxious gas began leaking into the vents and they passed out. Wendy slowly came to in a dark room, trying to gather her senses. She called out to Travis, who gently replied from the other side of the room. She couldn't tell what was around her or where Travis was. That's when the lights came on to reveal the sight before her. She was stuck inside that empty exhibit case, staring opposite of her, Travis inside the other exhibit case. Travis's decapitated head was sewn atop a body of a puppy. He was barely alive and sort of speaking. Wendy was freaking out and shocked and confused, and Travis's tiny puppy body was struggling to lift the weight of his own head, so much so that the puppy body, was trying to reposition itself, and Travis's head just kind of detached and he just kind of died right there. That's when Drexel appeared with that same doctor, surgeon, autopsy person from the first video in that gore setting. The one that was doing the dissection of the 12-year-old girl. Drexel began shouting at this surgeon that, he could have done so much better with this. He became detached. It could have gone better. But this. They both turned to Wendy and they're like, this could be your best work yet. From what I understand is that Wendy's head was attached to a peacock's body. Spine was all contorted. Limbs sticking out. Blood everywhere. And inside the exhibit case with her is this vulture. The scene kind of cuts out there as the ending description of this story continues. And as it's described, for years the still under construction sign remained up in front of that secret doorway, beckoning the call of the public to be curious enough to see what's behind the doors. Some people asked Drexel the same request to see what's behind the door, and the first thing they see is this vulture picking out the eyes of Wendy and her peacock body. Deceased Wendy, deceased Travis, rotting inside of their exhibits. And as more and more people sneakily see what's behind the door, they too are added to new exhibit cases. And for years to come, that still under construction sign remains up, beckoning the call of the public. And scene. Nice.